And I feel like that's what I've been doing on my YouTube channel, on this channel, is helping people to disentangle themselves from situations that they may have unconsciously become entangled in, so that they can prepare themselves and plan for a future that they may not be able to see yet, but they can anticipate something's coming, something's happening, and to have. Hi, and welcome back. September the 1st, 2025. Tried to find a nice, cool place to walk today. And I was thinking about my childhood in the sense that when I was young, I was raised to always be prepared, to be prepared for the worst thing that could happen. So you always had a car that was filled with gas, was always topped up, that you always had clean underwear on, just in case you had to go to the hospital. That was my mom's tip. And you always made sure that you had something to offer people if they came to the door. I guess that wouldn't be the worst thing sometimes. But you always had something to offer your company when they came. So always thinking ahead and planning for situations that you may not expect or anticipate, but that you have a plan if they should happen. And it's so funny that I just said that you should have clean underwear on, but literally all of these little things that so many of us were raised to think about, to envision happening, that something could happen where you may be in a situation where you don't have control, that you possibly didn't anticipate, and to at least have some form of comfort, knowing that you had planned ahead in some small way. And I feel like that's what I've been doing on my YouTube channel, on this channel, is helping people to disentangle themselves from situations that they may have unconsciously become entangled in, so that they can prepare themselves and plan for a future that they may not be able to see yet, but they can anticipate something's coming, something's happening, and to have the wherewithal to know that you need to be prepared. You need to take some form of action so that when this unknown situation occurs, you at least feel somewhat protected, somewhat organized and able to deal with it. And so some of the things that we've been talking about is getting to know ourselves, self-awareness, understanding where our energy begins and ends, recognizing the impact of different forms of energy, what that energy may be seeking, and how to ensure you don't get caught up in it again in the future. When we take this kind of action, you may think, oh, I'm thinking about the worst thing that could happen and I'm calling in negativity and these situations to occur. I guess you could see it like that. If you are seeing it from, it's going to happen, this terrible thing is going to happen, That's the only thing that's going to happen. But if you're seeing it from the perspective of, that could possibly happen, what could I do in this moment to help myself feel more prepared, more grounded, more capable of dealing with the situation if it arises? And how am I preparing? Well, if I am looking at my mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual situation, my needs, my wants, my desires, and where I am caught up in situations and environments that are not serving my highest good, and pulling myself back from there, so I have all my energy to use in any potential situation that may require my presence, my focus, my attention, and all of my wits to be about me, so that I can problem solve my way through it from a place of being calm and confident, and knowing that I have the capacity to work these things through because I have fully embraced who I am, and no one is feeding off of my energy. Whenever you say things like be prepared or look ahead or plan for the worst case scenario, so many people think of preppers, end of world preppers that have stockpiles of food and water and the things that they would need to survive should the world end. And the way that I see that is, if that makes you feel more comfortable, then do it. If that makes you feel more confident and allows you to live a more content life, why not? But if it contributes to fear, and it stops you from living, and it keeps you away from relationships, and it isolates you from connection, you'd have to ask yourself, what am I actually prepping for then? To survive the end of the world by myself? To live out the last of my days in isolation without connection? Without that necessary social engagement that humans require? The flow of energy, positive energy, infusing one another? What are you prepping for? I don't think it ever hurts to have things on hand should power outages happen, and extra dry food in case your fridge stops working or things happen that disrupt what you're used to and how you're used to living. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It wasn't so long ago that majority of people, if they were fortunate, had a cold room, or they had a cellar where they could keep their harvest from their vegetables and their crops, so that they would have vegetables and some fruits into the winter months, if there was winter in your area. And that was just smart living. That was about being sustainable with our environment and appreciating the abundance that is given to us, and then utilizing it, not in excess, not overindulging but using what we need and planning for the next day. And since we have been living in this world, in this universe, in this planet, timeline, however you want to identify it, we have been over everything, overusing, overtaking, over-investing, overindulging. Everything's over. Not in balance, but over. And now there's pushback from the planet that says you can only take so much before the cup is empty. And now is time for a reset. And whose fault is that? So taking that into consideration and looking at ourselves and the ways that we are a throwaway society. We throw away things, we throw away people, we just throw away. And now it's time that we are more mindful and in tune with our environment. And we listen to the trees and we listen to the plants and we see what's happening with the water and the skies. And we recognize that we are not alone here. We are not the be-all, end-all that was placed here, created here to kill a planet. Being responsible for ourselves means that we are responsible for our energy, for what we put out into this space, this time, this place, this environment. We're responsible for that. And we're also responsible to disengage and to use our energy wisely. For improving, co-creating life, as opposed to dismantling it and ignoring all of the signs and symbols and synchronicities that we continue to be shown, saying enough's enough. So be an energetic prepper. Prepare your energy for the shifts and changes that are occurring around you, within you, and outwardly, so that you're able to adapt to the incoming flow of high vibrational frequencies that are forming patterns and sounds, signaling to us what we need to know, how we should feel, what we can expect from the incoming changes. Sure, have a full tank of gas and have some clean underwear on. How can that hurt? My mom would be happy if you did. And even have some of the other things that we should always have on hand, right? Just in case the power goes out for a few days. Get to know your neighbors. Develop the community around you so that you have people to rely on and who can rely on you. Where you can share resources And at the very least, look out for each other. All of these things will give you comfort. And they're ways of preparing that don't require you to go purchase something. And you hear that? Hear that plane all of a sudden coming in? And this black fly? Flies are messengers, and planes deliver. So pay attention. Pay attention to the messengers who are delivering you what you need to be prepared. Thanks for watching, everyone. And until next time, stay safe and stay connected, and we'll see you really soon. Bye.